the circle of death.
Zero, one, two, three. Let's get started.
Oh, that's real good.
Ain't nobody stopping me.
Hello, and welcome to The Wonderful Pair, where two travel agents with very different perspectives collide. I'm Jess, queen of couples getaways, and this is Tracy, the magical mama conquering family travel with a sprinkle of chaos, coming to you from a rainy, gross St. Louis. And how's the...
It's gorgeous here, but it's also like 10,000 degrees with humidity. So
Oh, so that's what we were having a couple of days ago, but not coming to you from Universal. That was last week. But that's what we're going to talk about today because Tracy, you went to Epic. I'm so jealous.
I know. I had a countdown in my head. It was really exciting. I'm a bit of a theme park nerd to begin with, if you cannot tell. So when I started following the journey of this park and all the construction, there was a really cool site that had drone footage all the time. It would occasionally give updates. It was called BioReconstruct. So I've been following this for a few years now. I think they announced it right before COVID, and it's been under construction since I want to say like 2019, 2020. So, I had very high expectations going in. This is the first theme park in North America in about 20 or 25 years. It's Universal's it's Universal's fourth theme park in Orlando, behind Volcano Bay, Islands of Adventure, and Universal Studios. So, and they were promising like, oh, this new ride technology, immersive theming, character interactions. And so I wanted to see what it was all about. And then from an accessibility standpoint for neurodivergent travelers or travelers with special needs, I wanted to see if they took that into account as well and what that kind of experience was. And I was blown away. So yeah, it was awesome. It's an awesome, gorgeous theme park. It's very well thought out. And I will say this, it's not without its flaws. It's definitely not without its flaws. But I think those things, like as with anything new, I think there are like always little kinks that need to get worked out. And I think eventually Universal will get there. But I will say, if you're going just to go and like experience the new attractions, I would probably wait, or maybe it's really not the park for you because it's such an immersive experience. There's only 11 attractions. So you really need to go in and want to experience each portal. There are four, each portal, and experience all the little details and the food and the shopping and the characters within those portals, besides the rides. So I would take that into account. But they are going to expand as well. So they haven't made any announcements. There's like rumors that the Super Nintendo World is going to get expanded, and they're going to add Legend of Zelda on there. I have no idea, but I was just blown away by the immersiveness and all of the little details, right down to the entrance portal of Epic Universe itself. It's got four spinning medallions on there for each of the four lands. And then each of the portals itself has a different theme. So you have Super Nintendo World, Dark Universe, Ministry of Magic, and How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk, all themed around their retrospective properties. So it was just you walk up to Ministry of Magic, and the main portal has the Elder Wand, and then all of the wands from like the main characters, like Harry, Hermione, Ron, all around kind of like the entrance. The portals themselves have different effects when you walk through. So when you first walk through the entrance, you hear a heartbeat into Epic Universe. And then when you walk into, let's just say, dark universe. It's very spooky. Danny Elfman actually did the music for that world, and it's amazing. When you walk into Ministry of Magic, you kind of hear like a clock ticking because you're going back in time into the 1920s. So it's all these like little details that are just absolutely down to the things that you won't even notice that are like 10
God.
seconds long.
Okay, so that's like the first impression, the overview, like that was like the vibe, right?
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
each land has its own vibe. Like you were saying, it's not just about the big rides and it because there are those big rides, but it's about the immersiveness and like the storytelling and all these like little corners. Like you saying, like each individual portal has a different sound effect that you might not even realize. Like what other like vibes, like kind of like I know we're gonna go into like each of the lands, but like overall vibes, like
It's really thrilling. It's very relaxing because they one of the things I don't really love about the except for Diagon Alley, it's a little less crowded, but Hogsmeade the way it's designed because the way they want you to feel in the land over in Islands of Adventure, it's the land is not it's crooked, right? Because you're going through Hogsmeade Village and it's supposed to be imperfect.
you're
But it gets
going
it's very
dia- you're
yeah.
going diagonally
Oh
down
yeah,
the
like
alley.
zigzagging.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Took me like 10 years to realize that that's what that was actually trying to say, but
but
whatever.
yeah, so they took all these things into account, and it the pathways are wide. So when you first walk into Celestial Park, that's the main land that connects all four portals. And it has its own attraction, Stardust Racers, which is now my new favorite roller coaster over Velocicoaster.
Ooh.
Um, Stardust Racers, the carousel, it's escaping me right now what it's called, but
Oh,
they have a car.
Constellation.
Guess it, Constellation Carousel. I think that's what it's called. Astronomica, which is just really a very basic, generic splash pad that reminds me of something you'd see in Epcot, like old school Epcot. Um, and Stardust Racers. So that's basically it. And it's very wide and open. Ton of restaurants, food stands, gift shops, concierge, grassy hubs, like very similar if you're familiar to the hub at Magic Kingdom where you can kind of sit on the turf and if you
Mm,
want to chill and break. So I thought that was great because they don't have necessarily quiet rooms, so to speak, but if you need a break from all that sensory input and the crowds,
yeah.
this area of the park is really wide open and spread out, so you never really feel like you're on top of anybody. And there are a lot of like quiet areas to sit and benches with shade. The portals themselves lack shade, so you have to go in with a very specific strategy, especially if you're going this summer, because it's the rainy season right now, and it actually rained when I was there. And because there are only 11 attractions, more than half of those attractions close down from the rain, right? And or lightning. So even if it doesn't close down for the rain, if there's lightning within 5 miles, Universal's like, nope, we're not risking it. We're just closing it down until that passes. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. So if you're going this summer and you have a trip booked, I would immediately find a really, really reliable weather app. My husband has one, and I don't remember what it's called, but it gives us alerts to when it's actually going to rain, and we used it last year, and then we were like, okay, because we go in August. It's the only time that works for us with the
Is
kids.
it rain aware?
I don't know.
Does it sound
I
like
have
it?
to, I'll ask him, and
Let
I
me
can
know
actually
because
post it in the
I
comments, but it,
I
it
want to know.
works really well. And then what basically happens, you get the alert, and then you just go, we'll just duck into a cafe or something and let the rain pass. And if it's something that's going to be prolonged, we'll, go back to the hotel. So proximity is key at this park too. For this trip, I stayed at Stella Nova, and it was a 10 minutes to walk to the park for early admission. The next time we go, we're going to stay at Helios, which literally has its own entrance into the park. So that's going to be great if we need to go back. Um, bring an umbrella, not only for the rain, but for shade. That actually made a huge world of difference. During midday, when it was really hot out, I just popped open my umbrella and walked around, and it was like instant shade. So that was nice. But you have to go in with a very specific strategy. I feel like even if you have Express Pass, you should probably go in with a very specific strategy. And early park admission is key to this park. It is very popular, and the rides are amazing. The technology is They really, so there's 11 attractions, but think of like one of the best rides you've ever ridden is each of these kind of attractions.
Okay,
So,
so let's go into the lands, and then we'll talk about Eats accessibility and like some final thoughts about the touring strategy that you're talking about. So we started with Celestial Park. Like I hear that they're just trying to put the park back in theme park. Sounds like that's what it is, right? With all the open space. But let's start with Super Nintendo World because I
oh
am
yeah, that there is so much to do. If your kiddos are on the spectrum and you have any, or excuse me, if you have any, I have hiccups. If you have any kind of auditory sensitivity, you need to go in with headphones. This land and Dark Universe are very loud. This
okay.
land though is a lot of things to do, a lot of things to see. So I would probably visit this land in the morning or at night. It does light up at night, which is really cool. You can see a lot more of the interactive elements come out because the Orlando sun is so bright. And they take that into account. I actually was really impressed. A lot of people don't know this, but they take into account how bright the Orlando sun is. And that is why some of the buildings are painted a certain way in both Orlando and Walt Disney World. So Galaxy's Edge is a different vibe in California because of the sun, and in Orlando it's a different vibe because of the sun. So it is very bright. There's a lot of mini games. If you are a Super Nintendo nerd, you are going to go lose your mind. It is like you have been transported into the game itself. I mean, you go through the portal, the tube, and then you're in Princess Peach's castle. It's really crazy, and then you walk out, and then just like a million things happening at once.
So
Um,
did you buy the power up band?
I did not because I
Okay.
wanted to get people's opinions. I asked a
Okay.
lot of people in the parks what their opinions of it. A lot of people, it was very mixed. A lot of people
Okay.
love it. A lot of people don't like it. So, but if you want to play the games, you have to buy the power band because otherwise, if you just do this with your fist, it kind of makes it sound like womp womp. You don't have the power band.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
That
And
seems
then there's
rude.
also, you play there's a Bowser's challenge and you play these mini games and you get keys and you collect three and then you can go and defeat Bowser and it's really cute. Again, if you're a kid or you're a huge kid at heart and you're a Super Nintendo fan, that is adorable and so fun. You can legitimately spend an entire day just in this section because there's so many things to look at and do. You can also meet Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, and if you continue straight back through the land, you'll hit Donkey Kong Country,
Yeah.
which is home to Minecart Madness, the roller coaster that mimics the track jumping from the game. So, and it's very family friendly, that coaster, albeit a little bumpy, but fun. So you're just it's mind blowing. It's you're just fully immersed and down to every single little detail. There's just so much to do and so much to look at. So I was really impressed. But you
So
have the dun, dun, dun,
yeah,
dun, dun,
just like
like
it's in your
so
head all day.
it's like it becomes an earworm, and due to the sensory input that you get from this land, if you have children that are a little bit more sensitive to that kind of thing, I would probably go early in the morning or at night. It just depends on like what their needs are. But it is loud and it is a lot of lights and sounds and things
Right.
like that. So the morning tends to be less crowded and then the night tends to be less crowded, which is why I kind of like recommend that one
Okay.
or those times.
So what people may have realized, or we may not have said, that each of these portals off of this main celestial park, they are portals, and they're basically you kind of have to go the same way. It's not like you can go through a land and like in Magic Kingdom continue through that land to catch up to with something else. It's not very circular. So you go back out from Super Nintendo, you go back out through the portal, or I guess there's like a side,
Yes, you don't necessarily have to go back out to the portal. There's alternate exits
but you're still going
just to
back to the
flow, but
same.
you have to go back out to the
Yeah.
center and then walk over. Yeah.
Right. So it's not a hub and spoke. It's like you just
No.
go back. Okay.
No, but
So that's
it's totally walkable.
right.
I still did 9.2 miles.
Okay.
And I went back to the hotel and took a nap.
Did you feel it was like Epcot size and like you walked back to Boardwalk or Beach Club?
I
Is
felt
that
like
the
it was
vibe?
more comparable to Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
That's what it felt like. More comparable to Magic Kingdom, I feel like. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because I
because
think size
everything was
wise,
kind of like compact still. So
Okay.
you walk into Celestial Park, you go here, here's Dark Universe, you go here, here's Super Nintendo World, you go here, here's Ministry of Magic, and then Isle of Berk. I believe that's the order. So, I mean, to walk from like the furthest point to the furthest point, maybe 10 minutes. So it's not that main area is not that wide. It goes in a big circle and it passes all of the portals. And then towards the front, you'll have your merchandise shops, your eateries. There's a ton of food. The food was probably the best theme park food I've ever
Okay.
had.
We'll get to food. Hold on. Okay, so we did Super Nintendo World. Okay, Wizarding World, Ministry of Magic, which I wondered if that's your favorite because
It
of
is.
your.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
There's just a ton to I love Nintendo. I had a Nintendo 64 when I was a kid and a Sega Genesis. But that's not really, my kids are gonna go nuts, but that's not really like my jam anymore. There's so much to see and look at within the Harry Potter world. I know a lot of people are complaining because they think it's basic because it's 1920s Paris, but I personally have never been to Paris, so I was like, ooh la la, this is fun. They have a whole back section of that world that a lot you can easily miss, and when you find it, it's like the dark wizarding area. And it's very much like reminiscent of like kind of like Nocturne Alley vibes,
yeah,
Diagon Alley vibes. It has a little restaurant back there that is more like a little speakeasy because you have to find it. It has really cool spell elements, but every single window is so immaculately themed. Again, you can walk around and spend a half a day just looking at the thematic elements and being like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, and just take a ton of pictures and be in your Harry Potter dork era. The Ministry of Magic ride itself, I did not ride it. I was not staying in a queue for 3 hours, but they do have a special viewing line. So you can kind of like, I mean, I guess when it gets shorter, you can walk through the entire queue and not go on the ride for people that maybe don't want to have that experience. But right when you walk in and you go through the flue, you're in the Ministry of Magic itself from the 1990s. And that's the best part of the queue. That and Dolores Umbridge's office, which I didn't see, but that queue, it is like better than a movie set. It is
yeah.
unbelievable. They use real green tile, that is real tile, shiny
Is it?
tile. They have fake offices. One of the offices, I caught it on video, it was so funny, like randomly just shoots letters up in the air, like somebody's having like an accident, like a magical accident or something like that. The ceiling fans are going in all the offices. There's a really cool dynamic where you feel like, what is it called? That force perspective where you feel like there's more space, but it's actually not space.
Yeah.
So, like, you have the little entranceway, and then you have Umbridge's sign, and she's interacting with you. The ceiling is like a storm. It's storming outside. There's
Really?
so much happening in this when you walk in, but the size and scale of it are, like, my mouth was agape the entire time I
My
was in
God.
that queue. And when I was on the Dark Universe ride, Monsters Unchained, my mouth was completely agape. Like and I probably narrated most of it, which I don't think the people next to me appreciated it very much, but I was just like, holy moly, oh my gosh. And I'm like totally sanitizing this for being live, by the way.
I love it.
Yeah, there are like body parts, things flying, like that ride, Monsters Unchained, is completely unhinged. There's so much happening and going on, and the animatronics were like believable. And the set piece itself, you feel like you're in like a cavernous the pit of a castle. I mean, it's nuts. It's nuts. Oh, I lost your sound. Your sound. Your mic is off. So I'm just going to continue talking, because I never run out of things to say, and then maybe you can try and fix your
Hold
mic.
on. Can you hear me
Oh
now?
yeah, I can hear you now. Perfect.
Okay. I definitely turned on the mic and it definitely turned off. So that's fun. I don't know if that. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Well, we'll see which is, I don't know. My thing is being dumb. Anywho, sorry if I'm echoey. I'll have to fix it for next time. We're coming in hot, so today's a little
We're
bit
always coming in hot. We're like two
always
crazy people running around all the time. I actually have to go in a few minutes to go get my crazy kiddos. So
same days. I mean, not crazy kiddos, but I've got to call in for my own travel. We're going on a cruise, and I've got a client looking for an Italy trip, so I've got to get that going.
I
So
worked on 3 Italy trips today. One Spain by rail, Mexico again. So yeah, it's been a busy day.
okay. Okay, well,
But
let's talk about really quick the How to Train Your Dragon. How was that?
that was probably, in my opinion, the most elaborate. It's huge. The meat hall where the main dining is impeccable. You feel like you're in a Viking hall. They have
Ooh.
tapestries on the wall that mirror the cartoon series and the movies. I did not wait in line to see Toothless. It is by far one of the most popular things you can do there.
Mhm.
It is a full-size dragon who interacts with you, breathes on you, and nuzzles you. So if you have any Toothless fans, they're gonna go absolutely crazy. My kids are gonna probably go crazy, and I'm probably gonna then cry because that's what I do. But I saw him from afar, and he was adorable and cute and sweet. That Hiccups roller coaster is really fun, and like Toothless like pushes the button to launch you. It's so cute. It reminds me of Hagrid's roller coaster, kind of like very similar track and feel. Very family friendly. You get a bird's eye view of the Isle of Burke. I feel like that's probably the largest portal. I don't know if
Mm,
it was just the
yeah.
perspective and how they laid everything out, but I feel like that's the largest one. It has a water ride, like kind of like a wing glider experience. It's called Fire Drill, where you can turn, and like I will be avoiding that one because I can't do spinning. Um, and then it has the roller coaster and then the meet and greets. So you can meet Toothless, and then Astrid roams the area as well, with Stormfly, and then Rough Nut and Tough Nut roam the area. There's a bunch of different things you can look at, walk up to, sleeping dragons, dragons that pop out. I mean, they really knocked it out of the park. Everywhere you look is just you're in that film franchise. So, and I feel like that's all the portals are like that. Um, the circus show, Cirque de Arcanu, is incredible. I openly wept during that show. I feel like it was everything Fantastic Beasts should have been. Um, the park at night is glorious. It's just really nice to walk around in. And then you can't beat the entertainment. The entertainment is amazing. Shout out to my friend Peter and his wife. They perform in Starstruck. It's a really fun band that plays at the beginning of the park. I actually posted a live of him singing.
Oh,
It's really great. They have great entertainment, great food options. I never felt like I had
let's talk
super
about
crowded
food.
for food. Super easy. You can walk in, you'll walk in past a counter. So if you just want a cup of water or a snack, you don't have to worry about like sitting down and then waiting. You can just get that at the counter, or you can proceed straight to sitting down. You order on the mobile app, they bring it to your table. The food is awesome. I tried like a million things, mostly in the
I
hope of
know.
it.
I got all the texts, and I was like, now I'm hungry for all of the things. What was the favorite thing that you ate?
Oof, I don't know. Uh, More like what was the favorite thing I drank.
Okay, that too. That's fine too.
No, no. The drink offerings are just really fun. They have giggle water. If you watch the Fantastic Beast franchise, it's basically like prosecco, but it's fun. There's a bar moonshine in there that's like literally an in and out type of experience, but it's like very classy. I think the favorite thing I ate honestly was like so simple. It was like a chicken cutlet with gravy.
Yeah.
But I had a crepe. I had the famous like pretzel, like garlic pretzel. I made friends in that. There's a dark tavern, the Burning Blade Tavern. It catches on fire,
Yeah.
and then you can go in and get cool stories from a hunter in there and get some light bites and drinks, non-alcoholic as well. So I made a bunch of friends in there. We hammed it up for a while, and all smelled like garlic at the end of that one. That was probably my least favorite. And it was funny because it was like the most recommended. I feel like
Yeah.
everything that all the influencers are saying, it's like the best thing, like the butterbeer crepe. No. I had another crepe, I think with seven, like what is it called? Sauvignon Blanc? I don't remember, but I don't know any French. So, but it was basically like more of a berry kind of taste, way
Yeah.
better, and like with cream in it. Way better. Pizza Moon is fantastic. It just there's like no shortage of food. And what's great is you just don't feel like you're compacted or I never really waited. Like maybe I waited 10 minutes to eat at the cafe and I'm not gonna try and butcher the name, it's French, in the Ministry of Magic, but whoop-de-doo. I mean, you sat down, it's a big restaurant, it's so easy to order on your phone. I was just kind of blown away that the fact this was all kind of considered quick service.
Mhm.
They really did an impeccable job. Really did.
I love that.
But
Okay, go
you
ahead.
definitely need a specific strategy. And if you
Yeah,
can
I
buy
think that was what we were gonna talk about kind of to wrap up because I know that we've got a time that's gonna be our shortest one yet. But like crowd strategies and like final thoughts. Like, you said you need a plan because it's gonna
yeah, early park admission, you need to look at what, each of the attraction or each of the portals offers you and your family and pick out your preferences. If you're only going for one day, you're not going to be able to do everything. Even with Express Pass, I would say you're probably still not going to be able to do everything because Express only cuts the line in half. So I would say I'm not an early riser by any means, and our family is not early risers, are not early risers, and we're gonna totally take advantage of the hiccups of the early park admission.
yeah.
So I was out the door by 15 minutes later than I told you I was gonna be. 7:30.
Inspiring.
But I was over to the front gate and there was not like a huge line. I mean, there was lines, people lined up. And right at 8:02 is when they started letting us go in, and they'll filter resort guests and non-resort guests. The non-resort guests have to go to a holding area. The resort guests have to show their room keys. So please keep that in mind. You will need to
Mm,
show your room key. Please bring it. I think a lot of people forgot to bring it because if they're staying at one of the other hotels, and they have the express pass is attached to the room key, they're like, oh, we don't need it, so they didn't bring it. But you need your room key for early park admission, and it's okay if it's just one per party. So bring your room keys, do early park admission, make a plan, and you'll be able to get some things done. But it's definitely a 2-day park for sure. If you want to see and do everything, if you want to see the shows, meet the characters, be fully immersed, go back to, I
mhm,
went back to Dark Universe at night and walked around for 45 minutes just looking at all the cool things that were lighting up and happening and the characters walking out. And then I rode Monsters Unchained again with my mouth agape. So, yeah. So if you like that stuff, then yes, it's a 2-day park. If you don't, and you're really only in it for maybe 1 or 2 or 3 attractions, then I
mhm.
would just make a plan and see how much you can get done.
Gotcha. Yeah, I feel like it's a little counterintuitive because we say that there's only 11 rides, and they're like, well, then why would you need 2 days? But I really think that it is so much more than the rides. There
Oh
is
yeah.
so
Mhm.
much immersive. So, what I'm excited to see, and when I was at Universal, I got annoyed that I was standing in a single land and I looked around and I could see the other land, right? You're standing in the middle of Harry Potter and you can see Velocicoaster or whatever it was. It seems like they have fixed that. You're in these portals and you do not see the rest of the world. There are berms, there are dividers between you and the next land, or Orlando proper or whatever. So I feel like they fixed that. So it seems like it is very immersive.
It is. And if anybody wants to we can do another episode where people submit questions and I'm happy to ask. I did get a
Absolutely.
bunch of questions while I was there, but I didn't see them because it's so bright. It's hard for me to look at my phone.
Yes.
So, if anybody wants to submit questions, you can do so in the post. You can write to us directly.
Absolutely.
This is now playing on our YouTube channel. It's playing on our business pages. It's playing on our personal pages.
It's
So
everywhere.
anywhere you see this, just post a comment.
Talk to
We'll
us.
get to it. We'll get it eventually. But I do have to run, pick up my
Yeah,
kiddos.
no, we'll wrap it up. We want to thank everybody for hanging out with us today for this quick epic universal recap. If you have questions, certainly let us know. We can do another one. Otherwise, I don't know what we'll talk about next week, but we'll we'll
We'll
we'll be
figure it
out
out.
there. If you're ready to plan your own universal adventure, either one of us would love to help. Just reach out through our Swan and Sparrow travel website. Otherwise, until next time, stay wonderful.
Bye, guys.